We had a very good period working on the warm weather, and obviously the injuries of Antolin. Antolin had a bit of fatigue in his muscles after playing 3 games, and probably it'll take a week, but it won't be far away. Aruna Kone and Darren Gibson, they've been with the group and they're progressing well, even though we expect them back at the end of April. And probably Ross Barkley has been recovering really well from his fracture, and is still early on to be able to know how long it's going to be before he can be available with the squad. But Silvan Distan is fully fit. He trained with the group for the last 3 sessions, so he's ready for Monday. And apart from that, everyone is fit and available.
And for the squad as a whole, how beneficial was that a few days away?
Really beneficial. Just one name, Aiden McGeady, for him to be able to spend those 24 hours a day with everyone, getting to know the squad, getting to know the staff, getting to know the way we work. It was very important. Obviously, he's a player that he's been detrained in the last few weeks because he hasn't been doing any group work for 6 weeks, and as you can imagine, he needs that extra work. But it's been perfect. It's been like a mini pre-season for him, and now he's ready to have an impact into the team straight away.
So that means he goes straight into the squad?
He will be available for the squad. Yeah, I expect. Obviously, he's not a player that you would expect him to have 90 minutes, but I do feel that he's ready to be with the group and be part of the squad.
And how close are you to bringing in further reinforcements and a possible replacement for Nikici Jelavic?
Well, obviously, Nicky has completed his move to Hull City with our blessings, and wishing him well, and wishing him that he can enjoy his football and he can play a lot of games, so his World Cup role can be important. But obviously we're going to take our time. But yes, my focus is to bring another attacking option that it could help what we got, and that's, we know exactly who we want, so we're going to work hard on trying to get the right personality into the group.
Kenwyne Jones is a name that keeps being mentioned. Is that a name that you can rule out at this stage?
Well, I am aware that it's at least 10-15 names, so as you know, I will never ever speak about players that they are registered in other football clubs. I got too much respect towards that. So I know we're part of the January window, and we know that you're going to ask me about different players and different rumours, but you'll do really well to find players out of contract for me to comment on.
So you're not ruling it out then?
It's nothing to comment. Nothing to comment.
The top 7 all won last week. What's it like being a part of a battle for European places that's so intense like that?
Well, I think you do expect that from now till the end of the season, every point matters, every point counts, and to get into the top 4 positions, even top 6 positions in this league, you need to be perfect. I don't think it's a case of expecting other teams dropping points or other teams doing you favors, because someone else will take advantage of that. I do feel that the league now is really, really strong. You don't expect any of the top teams to drop points easily. And even though we got a very open league, don't get me wrong, I think every game is a really difficult one. To be able to get really high in this table, you'll have to be perfect, and I think that's the way we're looking at it, trying to improve even further what we've done this season so far. I do see signs that we're getting stronger in what we're trying to do. Even in our performance against Norwich, I was so pleased in many aspects of our performance that's what we're looking. We're not looking at elsewhere what the others are doing, what the points are going to be required to get into the top positions. We're looking to try to reach perfection in our performance and see how well we can enjoy that in the second half of the season.
When you find yourselves in the position you are in, and obviously it's kind of where you'd want to be, and you've got a big opportunity there, with that, does that come pressure in terms of putting pressure on yourselves?
No, but we always, in football, you need to have that pressure. Every time you go into a game, you want to win the 3 points, and that's all it matters. It doesn't matter if you need those 3 points to get into the Champions League, or just to get into the top 10 position, or to avoid relegation. For different reasons, all the points bring in the same need and the same pressure, and we are the first ones to look internally and add that pressure in our performance. I think that's the way to do it. But we go a bit further and understanding that you need to improve in certain aspects to be able to get as many points as you can, and that's the focus what we're doing.
Brendan Rodgers said yesterday that Liverpool are in the title race. You're only 1 point worse off than them. So are you in the title race? I
always said in the league, until you get into the final 9 games of the season, it's pointless, at least for us, to speak about where you're going to get. The first 2/3 of the competition is for you to try to get strong partnerships, to get very, very good in the way you want to play and accumulate as many points as you can. Then you get into the final 9 games, and depending where you are and depending how the other teams are doing, then you can set your aim. Clearly now we want to get as many points as we can. We're very pleased. You're looking back, we only got 2 defeats in the league, which is the best start in that department in the league. But probably we got too many draws. Out of those draws, I do feel that some of those should have been 3 points, should have been victories, and that's where the work is based now, to try to get those draws in victories. Then when you get into that position in the league, 9 games to go, you're looking at where you are, and you can settle for the aims in the final game of the season.
Obviously, West Brom comes into one of those draws early in the season, but a bit of a change and another Spanish manager into the league that you're coming up against.
Yes, I think Pepe Mel will surprise a lot of people. I think he's been very successful over his time in Spain. The first time I realized of his work was at Rayo Vallecano when he got promoted to the top league with a very small budget and probably against the odds. And since then he's done always a remarkable job wherever he's been. At Betis he got the team qualified for the Europa League. He's very clear in the way that he wants to play, very clear in the concepts that he's going to work with the team. And I can see this West Brom side being very, very different when we're going to face them on Monday than what they've been so far this season. So probably the wrong time to face Pepe Mel, but we wish him the very best of luck after Monday.
I was going to say, how difficult does that make your job? As they will be, I suppose, in essence, an unknown quantity in some respects.
Well, no, unknown quantity, no, because we know the players really, really well. It's not that it's a team that we've never seen or we've never played. Clearly, they'll do things differently. They'll try to play the game in a different manner, but in the same way, again, we concentrate on ourselves and trying to be as good as we can in the things that we do. So it's going to be a really good game. I can expect a very open game and obviously a team that is adapting to the new manager that gives you real bravery and they're going to be really difficult in that respect. But we need to be concentrating on what we do and make sure that we are as good as we can be and just carry on the good things that we did against Norwich.
What do you make of the growing influence Spanish managers, in fact managers connected with La Liga, seem to be having in the Premier League now?
Well, it's obviously it's a method of work and it's a different philosophy. I think in football you get trends, and you get in the late 70s you always got the Dutch school and Holland with a big influence in European football. You had the period when the Italian clubs were winning in Europe consistently, and that affected the game. Obviously now Spain and probably the way that they develop the players and the way they want to play and the concept of possession football, that's got a big influence. And obviously the people that they've been brought up in that environment can extend that way of working. And I think it's always beneficial for anyone that enjoys the game that you open up to different ways of working, different methods, and then pick what fits each individual and each country. And I think we're going to benefit as England in terms of seeing different cultures working in the same league, and that variety allow the players to be more rounded and have a bigger football knowledge, and that can only help if we use it in the right manner.
Does the British game still have a British identity?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And that's what I always keep saying, that's why the Barclays Premier League is unique competition. That physicality, that no excuse approach into the game. There are many special aspects of the English game or the British game that if we take on board all the other aspects of the way that the other teams work tactically in the continent, the way that they work technically, we will be in in a very advantageous position because of the uniqueness of the British game.
That physicality is often used as a criticism.
No. When I say physicality, is the intensity, is the way you work off the ball, the way you work on the ball, is that that mentality of going anywhere and trying to win and taking a large amount of away fans and expecting your team to go and have a go and play positive, and you don't get that in other leagues. Sometimes I've seen teams coming out to try to get a draw. That's unheard of in our game, and that's very, very. There's a lot of things that they follow that trend. We are fortunate of the genetics of the essence of the British game, and we shouldn't underestimate that. Yes, we need to evolve and we need to be aware of what the other nations are doing and the other countries and the other leagues, but we should never lose what makes us different.
You say you know who you want to replace Jelavic. How far along the process are you with that?
Well, in January it's not easy. As you know, you need to get many things together, and what it seems impossible one day, you got a bit of an opportunity the day after, and normally it goes down to the final day of the window. I think that's going to be the case this time, but I'm quite happy to wait for the right person. I don't want to bring a player just for the sake of it. I'm delighted with Aiden McGeady, someone that he fits in our football club so well, and I never expected him to be working with us in January, if I'm honest. So that's been really positive for us. We're going to take our time to make sure that the right player comes into this group. It would be a crime for us to lose what we got in terms of the dynamics and the feeling and the respect that the players have for each other. So I'll be very wary of not affecting that.
When you say we know who we want, you've got one name in mind, don't you?
No, when I say we know what we want is the profile of the player, what he brings into the squad, what type of player we need, because we're very strong in many areas. Obviously we're going to go in the next few months. It's a demanding period. We got 2 competitions to face, and we don't want just to go through in games hoping for things to happen. We want to be as good as we can, and for that you need extra cover in certain positions, and it's very clear the type of player that we need.